welcome to Echo Ratings Eventing Podcast Classics. And for this Eventing Podcast Classics show, we are throwing it all the way back to January 2017 and the first Young Guns episode that we ever did. So here it is. Who did we think were going to be the stars of today? The Young Guns episode first released on the 9th of January 2017. We hope you enjoy.
That's the intro, Nicole.
Thanks, for the nudge this week. Welcome to the Eventing Podcast with our
Nicole,
brand new...
Nicole, wait for it to finish her.
Oh, sorry, Dem. I did understand you have a start button and no stop button.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay,
there we go. Welcome to the Eventing Podcast with our brand new opening music. I'm Nicole Brown, and the music is courtesy of Diarm. Thanks, Diarm. I like it.
Oh, I didn't think you were going to come to me straight away. I just ate a big lump of chorizo as you were. I thought you might be one of
Diarm is always eating when we record.
Hi, sorry.
You do always eat when we record the podcasts.
I've swallowed it. I'm in. I'm good. I'm ready for a podcast about these young starlets.
Okay, so you're eating your dinner, kind of.
I'm going to turn this microphone off. Go around to everyone else there quickly.
Okay, Sam, you're not eating, I hope.
No, Nicole, I'm professional. The professional side of Equity Ratings.
I like that you laugh, Jenni.
Yeah, Jenni, you're on my team. Before we get to you and your ridiculous hello.
Well, now I'm not going to say it just to spite you.
Go on, Jenni Autry from the US. How are you?
Greetings from the US. It's very cold here, but I'm staying warm.
Not summer then, still, yeah?
It is still winter, yes.
Okay, just checking. Would hate it if I got confused over that again. So we've had quite an interesting week because the podcast for the ones to watch in 2017 went out last week. And actually, we were talking and there's a lot of younger talent coming through that we think deserves a mention. And a lot of our listeners have been getting in touch as well. So it's been great to hear from them on Facebook and on Twitter. And we're going to talk about the young guns to look out for in 2017 and go through who we think could be ones to watch, really, that are either on the season, coming through at 2-3 star level, or that have indeed got form at 4-star level as well, but we'll be looking to catch the eyes of the selectors maybe for the European Championships in Stragom later on this season. I'm the only one of the team born in the 1990s, just pointing it out a little bit. Quite well qualified, I might add, to comment on this.
Oh,
I think everybody over the age of 26, Nicole, just likes you a little bit less.
Rub it in that we're all old. We're all old.
I didn't call you old. I just said that I was, a 1990s baby. And we are looking at people born in 1990 onwards on this podcast, and a lot of our listeners' shouts as well. So, Jenni, do you want to get us started with maybe a rider to watch from your side of the world?
I would love to. And I'm especially excited to talk about this rider because I know she's been an early fan of the podcast from when we were just releasing episodes to get us started. So Caroline Martin, 22 years old. She trained very closely with Buck Davidson for about a decade and now has set out on her own to start her own business as of last fall. And what's really exciting about Caroline is that she has the most depth in her string than any other American rider born in the 90s. In the past 2 seasons, she's completed CCI 3-star events on 4 different horses. So that shows you how many she really has firing away at the top level. She's yet to tackle her first 4-star, but that is going to change this year. I spoke to her today, and she confirmed that her top horse, Quantum Solace, will be aiming for Kentucky. So we will see her going around her first 4-star this spring. This horse is named Nacho. He won individual and team gold with her at our North American Young Rider Championships back in 2013. Those are at the 2-star level, and that really set them up to step to the 3-star level. They did that in 2014 and never really looked back. They've had top 10 finishes in the CCI 3-star events at Fairhill, Jersey Fresh, and Bramham under 25s. And their cross-country record is quite strong. When you look at Quantum Solace. In 20 international runs, they have a nearly flawless record, just one broken frangible pin. At Bremen in 2015, no other jumping penalties, which is quite strong. The horse is only 12 this year. So when you think about what could really be coming for this pair and Caroline, it's definitely one to keep our eye on. She also has a string of younger horses at 1-star and 2-star level as well. So that would be my one to watch from this age bracket, Caroline Martin. Absolutely.
Sam?
Yes,
Caroline Martin shows up in, is it the top rated performances?
Yeah, well, she's right. I mean, she's already ranked in the top 100 in the world. So what's interesting about this is we're going to be, I think one of the big challenges for young people starting off in this game is getting a string together.
Right.
You often get that horse that gets you noticed and gets you through the level, and we've got quite a lot of those to talk about. But she's got a string of horses and she's got some horsepower, so she's already in the top 100 in the world. You'd expect to see her get even higher and probably hit the top 50 this year. So that's interesting, and that's probably one of the hardest things in this game. It is an expensive sport, so you need the backing of owners and sponsors and things like that, and that it can take a long time to get a reputation in this sport.
So last 2 years, 3 and 4 star, all the athletes born from 1990 onwards, only one person has more runs at 3 and 4 star level than Caroline Martin.
Can I guess who it is?
You can.
Is he Swedish?
He is, yeah.
Ludwig.
Good guess.
Ludwig.
Yep.
But that's impressive. She's 26 runs at the level and an 84.6% completion rate.
Yeah.
So she's certainly, as you say, she's building the string.
Yeah, very good form, and Quantum Solace is definitely her top horse, but she also has Pebbly Maximus. They completed 2 CCI 3 stars this past season as well. So it's going to be just continuing to build for her. This is actually absolutely the first time we're going to see her at 4-star, but certainly not the last. So this is definitely one to keep our eye on in the U.S. And honestly, she's been on every developing rider list that we've had since she was eligible. So the country certainly recognizes her talent, and we certainly do as well. So Caroline, we will be cheering you on, and we also appreciate you listening to the podcast. So thank you very much for that.
We love a podcast fan. And actually that
Yes.
brings us on probably to mention somebody that Sam just touched upon there, Ludwig Svenestål for Sweden, because you don't actually think that Ludwig is that young anymore, because he's been around for a really, really long time. He's been at the top level for a really long time.
Yeah, he's 2 good Olympic Games under his belt already. Again, a really, an established rider. I mean, he's just on the verge. I mean, he's just a 90s kid as well, but 2 Olympics under his belt already. And interesting that one of the other young stars we will be talking about is Swedish as well. So there's a country to look out for. We're talking about the European Championships this year. That's good, kind of good for any country to have some young blood coming through.
Well, Ludwig, 2 European Championships as well, and was actually part of the team silver medal that they won back at Malmo in 2013. So he is surely going to be one to watch for next year. Sam, do you want to go with your next top young gun?
Well, okay. I went through a process here, seeing as I'm meant to be the analytical one. So I looked at all the international 3 and 4 star results over the last 2 years to see what the athletes in this age group, how they're performing. I wanted to see someone who had a bit of experience. So we were looking for people with more than 10 international runs at that level, at the 3 and 4 star. So we're looking for someone who can really go on to top level here, or is already at top level. And then I set a few criteria to see what the profiles were like. What a lot of these young riders are struggling with is actually the clear cross country and the clear show jumping percentages. Both jumping phases have been a struggle. I put a filter in place. I said I want to see average dressage below 55. I want to see clear cross country rates above 66%, so that they're going clear more than 2 out of 3 times. And clear show jumping, I set quite low. I said 33%, so more than 1 out of 3 times. And it actually only threw up 7 athletes, and a couple we've covered. So we talked about Will and Newton in the last podcast. That was one you put up, Nicole.
Big fan, yeah.
Yeah, big fan, and I think a lot of big things to come. The one that stood out, because she has a 100% clear cross-country record from her 10 internationals at 3 and 4 star, is the Australian Hazel Shannon, who is 24 and who won Adelaide. That is an incredible feat to have won a 4-star already. Now, she's a one-horse wonder. It's with Clifford. He's 12 in Australian age. He'd be 13 if he came up to this side of this hemisphere. He's sort of basically 12 and a half. going to be a great age for the World Games next year. And the question now is, they've won their last 3 events. So they won the 4-star at Adelaide. They won 2 3-stars previous to that. They're on a roll. Kicked everyone there is to kick into touch down under. And it would be really interesting to see, does she come up to this hemisphere and come to Europe maybe to take on a few events over here. It'll be really interesting. But, we often, Australian eventing, Southern Hemisphere eventing can go under the radar a little bit. But I think this is one person that people really should look out for. Hazel Shannon, 24 years old, has won a 4-star and is an extremely consistent performer with Clifford. So I think they could be a big one to watch and a big player come the World Games next year.
So we've had an Australian, we've had an American. Diarm, another nationality to add to the mix?
The Brits. I'm coming.
Yes, we love the Brits. Well, I do anyway. Probably the only one of the 4.
Well, no, I'm a fan. I am going to go for Tom McEwen. Primarily, this is based on experience. So Tom is another one like Ludwig who feels like he's been around forever. He's 26 runs at 3 and 4-star in the last couple of years. He was second. Where was he second, Nicole? Event Rider Masters with Diesel.
He was second in Blair and he was awesome across country.
And he was a little bit, we didn't really predict too much. That was the second best dressage test that Diesel has done in his life. So it kind of came a little bit out of nowhere. I texted Tom today to see what the plans are. And I said, is there anything I can say and can't say? And he said, he just wrote back saying, say whatever you want. So wasn't too bothered about the whole thing. Yeah, wasn't too worried about it.
How are things going with him and
He
Holly?
didn't say that to Sam.
How are things going hot?
With him and Holly Woodhead.
Oh,
another one we should mention, actually.
Yeah, she's going to come up as well. She's skiing now in Courchevel, I believe. So
without him?
Oh God, I didn't know.
Sam.
God, I wonder if
we should probably clarify that Tom McEwen and Holly Woodhead are in a relationship. There's nothing untoward going on.
We thought
it is common knowledge.
We thought.
Yeah, he loves her so much. He got
She
Lulu tattooed on himself.
Did he?
Maybe he actually said, "Say whatever you want." Didn't see that one coming, did you, Tom? Okay. Anyway, back to the reason that we're going with him. He feels like he's been around for a long time. I was looking at this like Dictato and Major Sweep was where he started. That feels like so long ago now. He's the biggest string he's ever had. He's built it up to 10 horses this year, competing internationally. The ones to keep an eye on, Toledo the Cursor, so went 4-star this year, knocked a pole at Bramham but still managed to win, and that's the only pole that Toledo had in their career internationally. So those have brought Tom's show jumping stats right up. From this young group of riders, Tom's one of the best show jumpers amongst them, and Toledo's a big part of why that's there. 2.4 time when they won the under 25 3-star class at Bramham, but they've only actually made the time twice. And on the times that they make the time, they came second. That's the 7-year-old class at Le Leon and the 1-star at Tats, but that's 2 years ago. When they make the time, they do well. Because they always jump clear, but they don't tend to make the time. Toledo is going 4-star in the spring. Definitely, Tom. It feels kind of funny putting him into this bracket as one to watch, but now that he's got the string there, I think between Joyride, who I didn't even mention, Joyride, that was one that he had all across. I mean, that's a great syndicate, but Joyride goes to Belton, Tats, Burge, and Barbary. Like, they have great fun with him. Again, has only made the time twice. When Joyride makes the time, he wins. So if I'm your high performance manager, Tom, I'm saying put a rocket under Tom McEwen. If when he makes the time cross country, he'll
win.
He wins in second. Yeah,
this is one to watch actually, because Tom McEwen, he was longlisted for the British team for Rio last year, didn't get to go, but surely Stragon this year is going to be his time.
Absolutely,
Toledo would have a huge shout, wouldn't he, Sam?
He's winner of the Bramham under 25 CCI 3-star. Really solid form. Tom is a top rider. I mean, his 26 runs at 3 and 4-star, he's averaging 46 in the dressage. So that's seriously competitive, particularly by this age group standards, but really at all top levels. Young is probably the only person who can average in the 30s. Everybody else is averaging 40s. Tom's right there on a 46. And his clear show jumping record is over 50%. And again, that's very good for that level. And not many riders are up there, certainly amongst this bunch. he's in the highest. So he's just had to cement that cross country, getting the experience at that level, which he's doing.
Time, look, like those are the two strongest stats. Like, we're looking at spreadsheets and stat sheets here in front of us, but as you say, Sam, I'm seeing it here on mine. 46.1 average dressage, right up there, and 52% show jumping clear, right up there, but 4.5% of the time only making the time, and that's one of the lowest, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's the one,
I mean,
that's the one to watch. But then again, you're right. He's bringing the horses through. So
yeah, you pick your battles, and I mean, let's look at Bramham. He was adding very little to his dressage score, but it's just, I think the reason we get so obsessed with the FOD, finishing on your dressage score, is the mentality of it, is being able to go to a big competition and go, I'm going to produce my PB in the first, like the dressage is so planned. You know exactly what you have to do. Every arena is 20 meters by 60 meters. Every movement is the same. You should know every inch of it. You just go in, you hit your best dressage performance. And then you need to know that you are not going to add to it. Like, as a rider, that's the zone I try and get myself into. I can plan that test. You want to train your horses so that you can be in the middle of London doing your dressage test and they wouldn't bat an eyelid. They're on it, they're concentrating. And then you have to know, it doesn't matter, come rain or shine, I'm going to add less to my dressage score than anybody else here. And that's why we focus on it a lot as a stats company, because the people who do that are the people who time and time again rise to the top of the leaderboard.
Sam, while you're on it, sorry Nicole, but while you're on this, FODs from this group,
she's still top. It's Willa Newton. 4 FODs at 3 and 4 star level in the last 2 years from 14 runs. So that's a high conversion. And she is somebody who, we talked about her strength in the dressage. She's posted a 38 at 3 and 4 star level. She averages 47.9. So she's very good in that first phase. But there is a girl who can lay the smack down and stay on it, finish on it. 4 FODs from 14 runs is very impressive.
So finishing on your dressage score is key. And my first pick is going to be picked on consistency. And it is Susie Berry, who you guys should know very, very well, young Irish rider, who actually, she's one of those riders who just seems to nail the jumping phases. Her top horse, Carsonsdown Athena, has really sort of been the horse that's brought her through the levels. Won team gold at the Junior European Championships a couple of years ago when they were held over here actually at Bishop Burton College, 2014 it was, and finished 14th on that occasion. Then went on to the Young Rider European Championships the following year, so stepped up to 2-star, finished 14th again, took team bronze on that occasion. But in the horse's career, 13 competitions, one of them withdrawn, so didn't go cross-country. But out of the 13 competitions, they've only ever had one cross-country fault, and that was when they had a horse fall at Tattersalls last year. Other than that, they've been clear on every occasion. And on those occasions that they've been clear, they've also been inside the time on 6 of them. So 50% of their cross-country completions at international level have been inside the time.
There you go. Go Susie Berry, go Ireland.
Yeah, go Ireland, go Team Ireland.
Strong form there. I mean, the CIC 3-star at Blair, top 5, and Blenheim CCI 3-star, top 10. Those are the last 2 runs for them. That's very strong form.
And Susie came over, actually. She's been based over in Britain with Piggy French, and she's had a lot of good opportunities this season in particular. Well, Piggy's obviously been out starting a family, but she's finished well inside the world's top 100, even though I think she broke her ankle, it was. So she was out for 6 or 8 weeks in the middle of the season. Yeah. She's a very, very talented young lady, and one who I'm sure, Sam, you'll be hoping to ride on teams with in the future. Dare I say it?
I certainly will. Like we get to, I mean, some of these people we have to pick off the performances that they're showing us here on paper. But the thing about Susie is it's great to see her. I saw her at Campfire, just a stylish rider. I mean, the eye is telling you that this person has potential. You need to see both. You need to see raw talent, but then you need to see that backed up with performance. So she's doing both, and that's really exciting for us, I think.
So we've got a real mix of nations in the go so far. Jenni, anybody else from America?
Yes, I have one other, and I do want to say that I realize I'm picking 2 female riders. I know everyone knows that I love the girl power on this podcast, but I'm not just picking them for that reason. Their numbers back them up. And joining Caroline Martin as one to watch in the US, I would say Jenni Karas would have to be right up there with her. Jenni's 21 years old. another one in this age bracket who will be aiming for her first 4-star at Kentucky this spring. Her top horse is Fernhill Fortitude, who's 13 this year, and she's another one of our young riders who went over to Bramham under 25s recently and had a good result there. She was 9th last year. That was her overseas debut, and they did a personal best in the dressage of 48.9, and came home in the fall to finish their season very strong. 6th place in our national CCI 3-star championships at Fair Hill. They finished on their dressage score of 53.5 there. So when we're looking at FODs, that was a very strong performance. And that all culminated to see her named 2016 USCA Young Rider of the Year. So it's really just kind of come together for Jenni. She trains with Philip Dutton, who I know thinks a lot about the raw talent that she has. When we talk about how we're looking at the numbers on paper, but also what we see when the riders are in the tack, Jenni definitely has all the pieces there as well. She doesn't quite have the depth in her string as someone like Caroline. She does have another horse coming through at 1-star level, but that's something that's going to come with time, building that string. But right now, I think what's exciting for us is having these Rolex rookies, as we like to call them, coming up to their first 4-stars in the spring. So it's going to be really exciting to watch these two young ladies, Caroline Martin and Jenni Karras.
Do you have a lot of support for young riders coming through in America, Jenni? We have quite a bit over here. Is it similar around with you guys?
Well, we've been really lucky to have Leslie Law in the last couple of years named our developing coach. So he is responsible for coaching our 2 emerging athletes programs. So we have Eventing 25 with coaching riders who are in that 25 around their age bracket, and then Eventing 18, which coaches riders who are under 18. So it's been so valuable to have Leslie coaching. I can't tell you how much he's done for the program and how much excitement there is about him being there to coach. So he, travels overseas with these riders who are having their first international competition at places like Bramham, which is huge to have him there to support them. So we are very excited about the direction that program is going. It's certainly a little bit evolving in its in a different stage now after our post-Rio review, but there's a lot of excitement there. And they'll be having training sessions this winter down in Ocala. And we're very excited about that.
Jenni,
yes.
We might do an article on it, but female versus male riders in the States, there wouldn't seem to be, there's quite a lot of established top male riders, but coming through.
Well, if you're looking specifically at our Eventing 25 program, and again, I wish I could talk about all of them because they're all so great, but Jacob Fletcher, Zach Brandt, those would be 2 who are our Eventing 25 training programs who I know are developing their own strings, extremely talented. Again, when we talk about that raw talent, those are riders who are both horsemen and just extremely gifted in the sport as well. So those would definitely be ones that I would have my eye on as well for the males. But you're right. Our girls are definitely up there when we're looking at this pure stats. So I would say to the men, step up. The ladies are currently showing you up a bit when we're looking at these raw numbers.
Jenni.
Yes.
You don't have this in front of you, I don't think, but interesting. It's something that we go on and on about. We're just going to go on and on about it all season. But again, just looking at that FOD indicator, we're just looking at US riders and only, again, 3 and 4-star level. We're looking at who can come through at the top level of the sport. 3 and 4-star level last 2 years, the 2 riders who have registered an FOD, Caroline Martin and Jenni Karras.
Well, exactly. So they really have set themselves apart, and which is why I said I'm not being biased about the ladies, but the numbers speak the truth. They have had the best performances, and again, those are stepping up to their first 4-star just a few months away here now in Kentucky. So we're very, very excited, and of course, we'll be cheering them on as they make their 4-star debuts.
So plenty to look out for in the States, and it seems to be you keep coming back to this FOD finishing on the dressage score. And that seems to be a real key indicator, like you guys have spoken about. Is who else have we got in the mix that needs a mention? Diarm, anybody on your radar?
My radar on FODs.
On your radar. It doesn't have to be an FOD.
Well, I've got the next highest after Willa Newton on 4. Cathal
right.
Daniels. It's another Irish
that's a good
person.
One. Yep.
Can you, Sam, before we go into detail on him, can you teach me, please, how to say his name? Because I just sound like I'm trying to I think it's really unprofessional. A little quick Irish lesson.
Yeah, I think that noise is really good. I think that's how you should say his name from now on. Just like...
whenever I'm recording or on a microphone or a loudspeaker.
Just go, it's Daniels. Yeah, just call him Daniels.
Call
Cahill.
him Master Daniels. You see, I
Master
think it's
Daniels.
Cahill. It's not Cahill, it's Cahill.
Cahill. Well, look,
Is there a
there we
difference?
go.
Cahill?
Yeah,
Wait,
that's
if
coming
you
from
two
another
don't
person
know
with an
how to-
Irish
Just
name.
call him the
Wait,
boy.
wait.
Just call him the boy.
If you two don't know how to pronounce it, then there's no hope for us. We are
No.
relying on you to give us the proper Irish pronunciation.
It's Cahill. Cahill Daniels. He's from
Cahill Daniels.
Cahill, yeah.
Cahill Daniels. Okay, I'm going to practice that so that I cannot...
What's my name, Nicole?
Diarm. Is that right?
No, not my name. Jenny,
Diarm.
what's my name?
Diarmid.
Well done,
Wow,
Jenny.
that is the best.
Yeah, that's the best.
Oh, was I meant to give you a full name? Dermot?
No.
Dermot?
So unsure. Derbit the frog.
Sam,
How do you say it, Derm?
Sam, relieve me from this misery and tell me about Cahill Daniels.
Cahill Daniels, right? Okay, this kid's won everything there is to win at ponies and juniors, and
He's like a gold medal machine, isn't he?
yeah, he is, and that's great. And a lot of good young riders have done that as they've come through. But I'm much more interested in what happens as to whether they can make that step up. This guy is the busiest under 30 rider I know. I mean, he's following in the mold of like Townend, and Townend won 4 stars when he was in his 20s. This guy just might be able to. I mean, it's a big shout. I mean, it's a massive thing to try and win a 4-star, but he's going the right way. He's just done his first 4-star at Po. He finished 12th on the young mare Ryogan Rua. But he did something, probably the most impressive thing he did this year was he finished second in a CIC 3-star on a 7-year-old. Sammy Davis Jr., who has been a winning machine for him. But that's what this guy can do. He's a very good jumper. I mean, very established. He'd go and jump around a 140 in the morning. No problem with that. Has a really good eye for a strike because he's just riding horses all day long. He's just going to have to decide now, am I going to be a numbers man? Am I going to be quantity or am I going to be quality? Because he's there. He's got his 12th place in a 4-star. Now, when you start trying to get into the top 10, top 5 at that level, it's about, I mean, at first glance, I'd say the dressage score's got to come down. His 12 runs at 3-star over the last 2 years, he's averaging a 53 in the dressage. That's the highest of these 7 riders that I've got in front of me, who are, for me, in the top bracket of these young riders coming through. So he's got to take 6 or 7 marks off that. It's going to take time. I mean, his best is a 45.7. You've got Danny Evans averaging a 44.8. You've got Holly Woodhead averaging a 45.2. So they're averaging lower than his best. So he's got to take a lot of marks off his dressage score. And he can do that with the 2 horses he's got with Sammy Davis Jr. with Ryogan Rua. And then he's been very good cross country, 90% clear cross country rate and 54% clear show jumping rate, which again is very high. So, and 2 FODs. He's finished on his dressage score twice. So that's second highest. So he's got the jumping, he's got the talent, he's got a couple of horses there with a good owner supporting him. So he's certainly one to watch.
So Cahill, is that right? Cahill Daniels, another young Irish riders. The Irish riders seem to be, there's quite a lot of young talent on the scene, isn't there?
They're coming up, attacking those senior riders.
Yeah, like Sam Watson.
Just not born in the 90s.
What year were you born, Sam?
1985, Nicole.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just scraped in there.
Yeah, not too far out of the
28
realms of
to 12.
possibility.
It was my
okay.
birthday recently, Nicole. You didn't, did you
Did you
say
get that shirt I got you?
I did say happy birthday, Sam.
I didn't yet, although there's a package here on the desk for me, but it doesn't look like a shirt. Not for me. It's got your name on it. I haven't got a shirt from you, no?
Open that on the air. You'll love what's in it.
I'm not sure this is
I'm
a
not
good
sure.
idea.
I'm not sure if it's I'll try.
It's a book.
Oh yeah. No, it's
Okay,
It's the most
so-
amazing book in the world.
Can
It's
we
the
just
book.
clarify? Is this what you've bought Sam for his birthday, Dum?
No, I got him a shirt. He wears
Oh,
his desk.
you got him a shirt. Okay, so what's Sam about to open?
Oh
He's about to
my
open.
God, he is not lying. I've just opened. This is incredible, okay? The International 3-day event results and records from
you
1912.
got it. Dear,
From
I
when?
can't believe you got it. Oh my gosh.
Compiled and
From what
edited
year?
by Ridian.
1912.
1912. Over 105 years of eventing results.
I wasn't even convinced this thing totally existed, honestly.
Who
Here it is.
wrote that?
Actually, Sam, give the man a shout out because he did
Well, it's
what
my
we were
old
doing
friend
long
from
before.
Wales, damn it, as I was alluding to earlier. Ridian Wynne Williams. That's who's written the book. So he's
We're
recorded.
actually going to try track him down. If anybody knows how we can get in touch with Ridian, it would be really helpful, because we'd love to imagine we could do like on this day, going back all the way now on Echo Ratings.
That would be pretty cool.
We can also do all-time records for the first time. So there's no more of this, well, we didn't have any records like before, whatever year. We're now going to be able to say, of all time, Mr. Bass has
whose
the
job
more
is it
finishing on your belt. Let's go, of all time.
So whose job is it going to be to read through this book and electronify
We're
it?
going to have a little chat with you after, Nicole, to see if you would like some work.
Yeah, I bet you are. I bet you are, dumb.
I've just
yes.
opened it on a page, and it's got my dad on it.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Page 60. It's unfortunately it's his good result, so I'm gonna have to give him this one. But a 75 in the dressage.
he got what?
John Watson,
75?
75. Then he had 45.6 penalties on the cross country. Finished on a score of 120 and came second.
Go Watson Senior.
Yeah, hey,
World
tell him
silver
what it
medal.
was. It wasn't just any competition, though.
No, it was the World Games. 78. Individual silver medal in the World Games.
And who won?
That's what
When you come,
Oh, that old fella. Old Davidson. Old Brucey.
Good old American.
Brucey the babe.
Bruce himself. Yeah.
Okay, we're kind of going back in time now, guys, and we really need to focus on the young
Okay,
guns.
back
So
to present.
I'm going to rein
John
you in.
John Watson's going to be so happy that he got into a Young Guns podcast.
I do
Yeah.
have another one. I have another one.
You have another one. Okay, Jenny, you go for it.
Well,
This is a baby gun.
we're
Or is
talking.
this a real baby?
Yes, and
Is he still in the womb?
he's firmly out of the womb. And actually, it's interesting that we haven't talked about anyone from Germany yet, but I'm going to write that right now. This is Calvin Bachmann, and actually I have to thank Sam for finding him. Sam tinkers away in his database all day long, looking for trends to bring to you, dear listeners, and he found Calvin Bachmann, who we have dubbed the Young Young, after the one and only Michael Young. And when you look at this, do we call him a kid? When you look at his
He is a kid, really,
record,
isn't he?
when you look
How
at his
old is he?
record,
15?
he's 15. When you look at his record, it is hard to deny that he is going to be a star for German eventing in the future. He's only on the pony circuit right now, just purely because he's only 15, but in the past 3 seasons, he's completely dominated it. He's won 3 individual medals with his top horse, Azkaban B, and even though he's 15, he has already completed 19 CCI 2 stars and finished in the top 5 in 14 of them. So that's about a 75% top 5 strike rate at that level. When you look at his finishing scores for 2016, he has finished in the 30s 3 times, including 2 wins, one of which was at the CCI 2-star level. And in taking a page from Michael Young's book, he also competes in pure show jumping, and he's a medalist in that as well. So it's kind of unreal to see. Right. He's essentially dominating across 2 disciplines, and he hasn't even gotten up to junior, young rider and ultimately senior level yet. So definitely the rising star of German eventing, and we did do a fun piece on him on the Echo Ratings blog. So if you want to know more about Calvin Bachmann, the young, the one we're saying could one day challenge the Terminator for the top title in the sport, it is Calvin Bachmann, and you can go to the Echo Ratings blog to learn more about him.
I am going to stay in Germany because I have a couple of favourites over here.
Brilliant.
Now, let's deal with one actually we both love, Jenny. Pia Munker.
Oh,
Wasn't she the one on yours and Sam's watch list?
Oh no, don't be getting us in trouble now. Only because of her prowess in the dressage with Louis M.
I'm glad you clarified that.
Thank you. Pia Munker holds the best dressage record, the dressage record in our system over the last 6 years. She, 20.4 in Cruyff on Louis M. It's the best dressage we've seen in eventing in
the one and only
a long.
Louis M.
Louis M. Actually, you can come back to this. Louis M. is now in the US. Jenny with
Cornelia Dorr, who I talked about those emerging athlete programs who get to train with gold medalist Leslie Law. Cornelia is now on the list with our beloved Louis M. So we'll definitely see more from them. Yes.
Louis M is a dressage freak, so 20 consecutive sub 40 dressage. But let's stay with the Germans and let's stay with the young stars. The one, looking at the runs, again, remembering 3 and 4 star level the last 2 years. So we're looking at who's really probably closer to the top than Calvin currently is. Nicholas Schroer is one to mention. So we'll remember his stickability moment at badminton when his air jacket went off a couple of years ago. But he falls into this category. 12 runs at 3 and 4 star level. But the one I'm going to go with, Pia's up there with 10 runs. The one I'm going to go with falls slightly out of the bracket, which is why she wouldn't have been picked up by Sam's algorithms, because she only has 7 runs, but she's 100% completion rate, and it's Leonie Kuhlman. My friend Heather at Lemoulin picked this one out for me, and certainly the record supports it. She only has one horse really operating internationally, but she's managed to get into the top 100 in the world, and it's the 15-year-old grey mare Cascora. Now, they were second in the CCI 3-star at Stragom. They were 7th in the Nations Cup at Warragam, and they were also second in the CIC 3-star at Stragom. They've had a very good year. They're averaging in the 40s in dressage. They have been as low as 43. They've a very good cross-country jumping clear rate. Again, it's another rider that struggles a little bit getting inside the time. But Leonie, ranked 14th in Germany at the moment. She's one that we might see somewhere along the way next year. Certainly one to keep an eye on.
Good shout.
So the Germans are basically... They've got domination for years to come.
It's coming for us.
Someone's going to have to deal with Stephanie as well.
Yeah.
Steffi Bohe, winner of Buccalo. Hey, Tom. It'll be quite interesting, actually, if Steffi brings the horse to a 4-star next year, whether she might save him for Lemoulin.
Yeah.
I'd say surely Lemoulin if she's gone for
You
it.
would have thought Lemoulin, wouldn't you?
It's a nice starting point for a 4-star.
Nice 4-star, yeah.
She's only one CCI 3-star done him. Like, he's not that experienced. Am I right? Yeah.
Maybe she'll be a German for the German Europeans team.
That would be a sensible option, I would think.
Get her
That
some
would be quite an
experience.
interesting one at 3-star level.
Yep.
She needs to get her show jumping back. Show jumping is Stephanie's
Weak link.
It's pretty like, these guys are very relevant now. Like, take someone like Steffi there, who's won Buccalo, and the World Games are now a 3-star. It's like the dynamic of the sport is changing a little bit, and the Olympics is down to a 3-star. It is more accessible, not just in terms of inclusivity and from a nationality point of view, but in terms of even opening it up to some of the younger guns coming through. Those major championships are just a little bit more accessible as well. So I think we're talking about some really relevant names. It is worth kind of keeping an eye out for these kids coming through. Kids.
Yeah. It makes you sound quite old when you call them kids.
Nicole,
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Yes.
You've been WhatsApping me images of this young man all day, and I don't need to see it. I'm not attracted to him anyway. I'm not attracted to him in any way, but you seem very excited about the whole prospect. So why don't you deal with Sam Aykroyd?
I will, yeah. I wouldn't say I've been WhatsApping you images all day. That would be highly inappropriate. You're just saying things now, Diarm, because you warned us at the start of this podcast that you weren't going to do any editing, and we've probably been far too well behaved for your liking. But I will take Sam Aykroyd and say that I think he is... He's 19. He is going to be surely one of the British team riders of the future. And he's one of those riders that actually came through the Pony Junior sort of program over here. And I saw him back in 2014 at the Junior Europeans. And he was on the team then. Things didn't quite go to plan for him individually on that occasion. But he was a very good rider, and it was on Wodan, which would be his top horse now. And he's changed massively. Like, he is a different rider. In the last 18 months or so, he is a totally different rider, and we'll come on to that a little bit in a minute. But this year he broke into the world's top 50 for the first time. He was 48th in the world at the end of the season. He had 26 international runs in 2016. Of those, he was clear across country in 23 of them, had one elimination, so he had an 88% clear cross country record, and on 53% he was inside the top 10 just in 2016. So he's a rider that's getting a lot of results. He's only 19, and his top horse Wodan, who we touched upon, that's come through juniors, young riders, that kind of thing, went to Gatcombe for the ERM leg at the beginning of August, finished 7th, did a really, really good double jumping clear round. And that was a hot leg, actually. That was the one that Oliver Townend won. Upsilon was there, Is It Power? And he was very, very impressive. And he's riding now with a maturity that he didn't have before. And guess who he has been training with?
Mikhail.
Yes. Mickey Young.
No surprises.
I think he trained with him a lot last winter. And his riding has come on enormously, and he just looks like he is going to be a star for a very, very long time on senior teams. And he's got a kind of maturity.
Hard to get into your teams, though. I mean, you got...
Hard to get,
let's think about it.
Is it a change of era, though?
Yeah,
I'd say
possibly,
it's
but
changing
you've
of the guard.
got...
It's time. Now's the time. I'd say the door is open.
You know, Chris Bartle's come in, Dickie Waygood. There are opportunities to make a mark. And for a young rider, now would be the opportunity to be sort of sticking your head above the parapet.
Who's going... I mean, definitely they're going to stick their head above the parapet. I mean, he's there on merit, but it's a very difficult team to break into. Like, it's difficult to get that experience. Well, I can see why you might say possibly changing of the guard, but we've been saying that for years. But it's so difficult for these guys to get through. Possibly Nations Cup. Like, you've got Holly Woodhead there waiting, knocking on the door as well.
We have, but Wodan was second in the under-25s 3-star at Bramham as well. So they have 3-day form. There's got to be a time where some of these younger riders make it into that team,
and we talked about
Tom Europeans or...
Yeah, and we talked about Tom McEwen earlier in the podcast, and Sam was right behind him. So at Bramham. So I would say, yeah, absolutely. He's proven himself now, for sure.
And can I just quickly mention actually one of his horses, which is a 6-year-old, Christoph. And he's a horse that hasn't really got any international experience in so much as he's only done 2 1-stars, a CIC and an actual CCI 1-star, but won the CCI 1-star at Osberton and was third at the CIC at Somerford Park. Both of them on well under 40 penalties in the dressage, 35.1 and 37. And on both occasions, that was the score the horse finished on. So Christoph, certainly one to watch perhaps for next year. He's actually an 8-year-old as well. So he's obviously coming to the game a little bit later and could be one to move up the levels quite quickly in 2017.
Yeah, he's coming there. He's his 2 top 10s. The Bramham under 25 one, again, you always want to see them just come into open company, and it's a hard class to weigh up that one, but a top 3 finish in that, you have to take it seriously. I mean, a finishing score of, 51.3, so that's a good finishing score to CCI 3-star, and then he was 7th at Gatcombe. But one horse, one season, I would say, for 3-star.
I'm going to say he's got some other horses that are going to step up. He's got good horses at 2-star level, Opera House and Master Douglas, both of whom have got really, really good, strong results at 2-star top 3 placings. He's going to be one, I think, that will be surely on the radar of the British team. Even if this year isn't his year, because he is young, he will still be in Young Riders for a couple of years. You know, he has plenty of opportunities to make his mark. Yet, let's face it, he's older than Calvin Blockman.
Yeah, no, I
just thought of another one, though. Danny Evans is still there. We have to talk about her, surely.
Danny in 1990s, baby.
Yeah, and she's posting some pretty impressive numbers here. I'm looking at them.
Again, that having 4-star experience is massive, because even when it doesn't go so well, like that's what your Tom McEwens have and your Danny Evanses have, is they've been to 4-stars. They've actually both been selected for a British team, Danny and Tom, but neither of them started.
And I do think that's interesting when we talk about, of all the riders that we've listed so far in this podcast, which ones have actually done a 4-star. And that's your next level. They already have that under their belt, and Danny certainly has.
And the one that we're forgetting, and this is why I set it back to 2015, was the highest rated performance by anyone in this category in the last 2 years is actually Emily King's result at Poe last year. And think of the position she was in at Badminton. And not just that she was in such a good position. I mean, she got to the second last fence where it fell apart for her. But the commentary at that point was that she had handled the pressure and she had ridden well, because she has, her cross-country stats at the top level. I mean, she's got to find consistency now. She's got to draw a line under, I think every young rider, all they want, and I was in this boat, is you want a yard full of horses. If you have 10 stables, you want to have 15 horses, and you will rotate. I mean, you're just so hungry, and all you want to do is ride till the minute the sun comes up, minute the sun goes down. And you see some riders in that bracket with riding a lot of horses. Cahill is definitely one. And then you've got to go, okay, I'm now experienced, like I've got to 4-star level. Now I have to look at probably the best example of brilliance that we've seen in this sport in a long time, which is Michael Young. He doesn't compete that many horses. He just does it extremely well and extremely consistently. And you've got to kind of change your tune to that way. So Emily's probably got to now put the line under the experience that she has, and get a string of horses, like a kind of a smaller string that is just high quality.
She's been a bit unlucky actually, because she was so good across the country at badminton until it went wrong at the penultimate. But Brooklyn will be out, I believe, for this season as well, and won't be back until next year. I think I'm right in saying that. But she went out to the Young Rider Europeans as well, and a horse wasn't quite right, so she didn't get to run. And she's almost just had one of those years that, coming off the back of that result in Po in 2015, the world was at her feet sort of thing. And actually, it's just been a bit of a learning curve and a bit of a school of life, really.
Yeah, you need that in this sport. You need to be able to take the knocks because you'll get them. And if you let it knock you, and if you let a fall at the second last at badminton when you could have shown the world something incredible, if you let that knock you down, you're not going to make it in this sport, because there are definitely more setbacks than there are high points.
And the other thing,
I think she's pretty resilient though.
She's very good. I thought she handled that so well.
She handled it so well, yeah.
And she's continued competing her young string through the season with good results. So that's another thing when we talk about what these riders need to really make their mark, and as they look to step up to the higher levels, it's that string of horses beneath them, and she has that. She has the horses at the 2-star level and 1-star. So she has all the pieces there for sure.
So who else have we got that we need to talk
two
about?
mentions to people in the UK before I move off this list?
Yes.
Millie Dumas.
Yes. Good shout.
Yep.
Falls in. She's posting some good scores. Average dressage from 5 runs, a 3 and 4-star level of 44. She has been as low as 36.7, and she's jumped clear on every occasion that she's been at this level. So Millie is definitely there. The other one I want to mention, just under the radar a little bit, but Imogen Murray, she's one of the riders who's competing most regularly at this level. So she's
and one of the nicest riders on the circuit, I think.
Lovely girl. Yeah.
Well, she's approaching her 20th run at the level, and she has nearly a 90% completion rate, again at the top level. So just one to keep an eye on. Sam's talking about experience and about consistently being at this level. She's one that goes under the radar a little bit and worthy of a mention.
Cool. So basically, we have a lot of young talent to look forward to that might not necessarily really make it to sort of championship level this year, but are going to be ones that surely will be on the radar for years and years to come, and will be definitely ones to keep an eye on. Our listeners have also very kindly been pointing out quite a few to us. We've mentioned a few of them, but there's been quite a lot of debate between us all, because actually it's very difficult to pick out people and really select the list down. So a few of the other names that have been mentioned: Emily Prangnell, Abby Bolton, of course, who went clear at Burley on her debut there at 4-star last year, Tilston TikTok. She's one of the riders that perhaps lacks a little bit of depth in her squad, but certainly very capable at 4-star level. Bert Bolton, Olivia Shepherd mentions Bert. He was working for Oliver Townend actually for last year, not 2016 but 2015, so he's going to have got a pretty strong work ethic from Townend, I would have thought.
Yeah, he'd do that to you.
Are you going to agree with me?
We are agreeing.
Well,
Yes.
I mean, what can we say?
Yes, Nicole.
Yes.
Nicole.
We're all getting hypnotized by your voice again.
You're hypnotised by my voice. Yeah, something like that. You called me the 7 dwarves earlier,
We're
Sam.
in a trance.
I've got a little one to mention, Nicole.
Go on then.
Remember we did that article on Calvin Bachmann?
Yeah, we got some good comments for that one.
Well, one of the comments was from Annabelle Scrimmager, and she was telling me that, yes, she's seen Calvin in action and she was impressed, but there was arguably one French rider that we needed to keep an eye on who was falling under the radar a little bit, who she felt had even more potential again, and that was a guy called Victor Levesque. He was the winner of the Pony Europeans in Mill Street back in 2014. So I was having a little look at him today. He has 2 main horses in his string, so Funambule des Auges and Ustinov. Ustinov actually was with Maxime Livio. He had an outrageous record with Maxime Livio. I think it was like
Maxime.
Always has to bring it back
Really
to
good or bad?
Maxime, doesn't he?
Always comes back to him.
Always
It's like the 10 degrees of separation.
Every time.
he had a Tom Carlyle young horse type record. He had 3 wins from 5 runs, and then Ustinov went on. This was their first season together. They won the under 25 class, Ustinov and Victor Levesque, at Fontainebleau. They had a couple of bad days. Harassed the Panda picked up 60 in the cross country, but the one thing I liked actually, his other horse, Funambule des Auges, when he got it, there was a huge improvement in the results. And that's something you don't always see with a young rider. It's something that someone like Townend can take on some mad horses and suddenly they're turning into winners. You don't often see it with a young rider, so there's a degree of horsemanship possibly here that you don't always see just from looking at the results. But he got the horse. Oh, he didn't have a good record. He'd even retired in the show jumping in a load of 20s all over the place. This guy took it his second event. He won the CCI 1-star at Fontainebleau. He then was second at the Junior Europeans, and then he was second in the CIC 2-star this year at Montelibretti. So Victor Levesque, we'll get the French in there, one to watch.
Cool. So basically, lots of nations, lots of young talent coming through, and lots to look forward to in 2017. I'm so excited. I really genuinely, it's going to be a good year. I'm sure it is. And we can't wait to see it. But on this podcast, what is it we're doing again?
Well, we're not editing. That's one thing.
No, apparently not.
Yep.
Oh,
Thanks for
I'm
that.
lash it up.
On that one note.
I am starving. I need to get out of here, team.
Haven't you had your dinner? You were eating it?
No.
He was playing football.
Football this evening, you see.
Oh, okay. On that note.
You all know what I had for dinner.
Chicken.
Leftover roast chicken. Yeah.
The listeners do not need your cleaning the fridge roast chicken story, Sam. They really don't. On that note, thank you all very, very much for listening. And do get in touch with us. Find us on Twitter or on Facebook. Use the hashtag Eventing Podcast or search for us. And indeed, join us on iTunes, SoundCloud. You can listen on the website as well. So make sure that you join us, and we'll be with you back very, very shortly for more build-up. Thanks, Diarm. You've been very well behaved for the entire podcast, kind of. Tom McEwen will never tell you that you can say what you want ever again, though, I'm sure. Yeah. On that note, while the children get out of control, we will say thank you for listening to the Eventing Podcast, and we'll see you very, very soon indeed. Good night.
Eventingpodcast.com